This episode is brought to you by Bellator's Publishing, bringing stories to the world that last forever. We're finding out about just how bad these guardians are. So Saeris says she'd watched one of the Queen's guardians gut her neighbour for lying about his age. Straight off, like, this guy was obviously a Fae, wasn't he?
Something curious for me as a Spanish speaker is that his name is Elroy, and if you change just the O for E, it means the king, El Rey.
Oh my god! These just gave me goosebumps. How did I not spot that?
Saeris says that the Queen Madra just emerged from the darkness. It's like, she said that it's like she was made of it, and reminds me of Kingfisher, because Kingfisher does that a lot as well. And I wonder if is here a hint as well about like Fae power. Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Quicksilver.
I'm JC.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're starting our deep dive of Quicksilver with chapters 1 to 4. And just heads up, we might use strong language and explore adult themes. Quicksilver is the raciest book that we have covered so far, so buckle up.
This episode will contain spoilers from Quicksilver, the Kingfisher POV chapters on Callie Hart's website, and snippets of information we've had from Callie Hart herself.
And before we start, quick reminder, if you want early access to our episodes, bonus content every month, and no annoying ads, like this one, you can have all of this by becoming a supporter. You can try it for free now and cancel anytime. For the best deal, visit faithfullyfantasy.com or simply subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts for instant access. Don't miss out and become part of our community.
Also, if you're enjoying the show, please take a second to rate us wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of it. It helps more fantasy lovers find us, and it's one of the easiest ways to support the show. A quick tap and you've made our day. If you haven't already, don't forget to check out our Prepisode, which is a guide to the world we're about to enter. A quick recap of how our Quicksilver episodes will run. So first, we have the map tent, a short summary of the week's chapters fit to prep the Lupo Proalia. We'll then dive deeper than you ever thought was possible into the fine print, scouring the pages for clues of what's to come. Then we'll flick through the pages of Adina's sketchbook, channeling our oracle powers, just like Mummy Kingfisher, and recapping our favourite theory of the week, foreshadowing what could happen in Brimstone and beyond. Then we'll set you up with the chapters you'll want to reread before our next episode, before we enter the part of the show where we listen to the ethereal whispers and answer a question from the Quicksilver.
So, without further ado, let's enter the map tent.
Our main girl, Saeris Fae, kicks things off by faking a plague to spook a city guardian and steals his gold gauntlet. Bold move, considering that'll get her executed. She scales the crumbling wall separating her home, the third, from the affluent central hub to escape. And when the gauntlet whispers and the quartz starts vibrating, something magical is brewing. She tries to convince Elroy, grumpy ex-rebel turned glassmaker, to let her smelt the stolen bling in his furnace, but it's a no from him. He's being a bit of a glasshole, to be honest. Then she finds her brother, Hayden, or I'm going to call him Hay Deadweight from now on, bruised from a fight with Carrion Swift, the third ward's thirst trap that she definitely has slept with. They fight over drinks and the ethics of stealing from fascists. Carrion wants the gauntlet hidden. Saeris hesitates. And boom, Hay Deadweight has vanished. Saeris panic sprints through the city, parched and hanging. She finds Hayden surrounded by guards and pulls the big sister move of the century, confesses to the theft and takes out 3 guardians before telling Hayden to run. Her parting words? Brutal, but meant to save him. Imprisoned, Saeris is dragged into a creepy palace chamber and grilled by Queen Madra, who's ancient, terrifying, and convinced Saeris is a Fae-trained assassin. Saeris runs with it, pretending to be exactly that. Madra promises blood, fire, and revenge. The vibes? Bad. The stakes? getting higher.
And something that we're going to learn here is that the devil is in the details. So now we need to start paying attention to the fine print. And precisely, that's why we're going to start with this part of the show. So where we're going to score the pages for clues or what is to come.
Chapter 1.
The Climb.
So the chapter title, it's obviously there because she climbs the wall. The walls separate the third, like kind of disease-ridden ward from the central hub where she is facing off against a guardian.
Yes.
But actually, I wonder also if this title is a bit more symbolic than that. And if you think about what this start of this journey is and where she's going to end up at the end, she's like seriously climbing up, isn't she? From the third, if you think about where she ends by the end of this book.
Yes, so it could be like something symbolic that right now she is just somebody pretty much like nearly homeless, and the third that has no hope, no future. She's just a human, and she's just started with this journey when obviously by the end she's going to be way more than that.
Yes. I love the first line of the first chapter because it threw me back to Fourth Wing, and it starts with, there really is no need for all this violence. And I was like, yes, I feel comfortable back in the Fourth Wing world.
Yes. It's strange because it's kind of like given, I don't know, like a kind of like a reference or something. There's no need for this violence.
No, it's not. It's just because we've been so tunnel visioned.
Yeah, could be.
The last year. So Saeris is kind of facing off against one of the Queen's guardians who's like totally clad in gold, which feels a bit impractical, to be honest. But she's against the wall. We're getting some world building at the same time. And we're also getting a bit of her history. And we're finding out about just how bad these guardians are. So Saeris says she'd watched one of the Queen's guardians gut her neighbour for lying about his age. Straight off, like, this guy was obviously a Fae, wasn't he?
And interesting to see exactly how he was lying. Because if I maybe the guardian asked, how old are you? And they say like 2,000 years old or something like this. And then for everyone else is lying. So the guard kill him because it's lying. But actually it's telling the truth because it's a Fae. Or the guardian knew he was a Fae and knew they would be like hundreds of years. And they say like 30.
Like Carrion.
Yeah.
It's just like reliving his life several times. Yeah, I definitely thought it was the second one, but only now thinking, like, when you said it out loud, it could definitely be the first one where he's like, because it could be a Fae that literally could not lie.
Yes.
As well. So they're like, how old are you? And he's like, 1,733. And like,
then, so the rest of the world that he's just lying. But
he can't lie because he has taken this fail. I love this. It's so good. This is just a sign of like why we're covering this book, because Callie Hart has thought about all these little things, I'm sure.
Yes, so I'm interested to see maybe in Bristol we're going to see like something like this, and then we start to put all the dots together and maybe like, oh, yes, here probably it was a Fae.
Yeah. That's so funny. So we also learn about the twin suns. This is like the real first bit of world building. So obviously links to the goddesses, which we will meet by the end of the book, Baal and Mithin. And we learn that the twin suns are kind of always in the sky.
Yes.
Which means it is like painfully hot, painfully dry. And the city is in the shape of a wheel. It also says, like most cities. And we know that there's 7 cities in this realm, this human realm. So I wonder if we'll ever venture into the other 6 and find out what they're like.
Yes. You know that when we were going through the Imperium series, there we had a lot of reference with Star Wars. For me, this kind of like the first one about Star Wars as well.
Twin suns.
Yes, because and the planet where Anakin Skywalker he was born, I think it's called Tatooine. There's 2 suns, and there's this famous scene where Luke Skywalker looking at the sunset, and then you see like 2 suns and the sunset. So It's just like, oh yeah, another like a Star Wars thing for me.
I mean, I'm sure it's not the first thing to have two sons, and
Yeah.
but yeah. So the Guardian's having this big heated exchange. She says she's diseased. He drops the gauntlet. He mentions the fifth gate of hell, which we do apparently end up in by the end of the book. So again, this is just another seed that's being planted. He says, answer quick, girl, or I'll have you dispatched through the fifth gate of hell. Obviously, it's foreshadowing for the end because she does get dispatched through the fifth gate of hell. But my theory is that we have 5 books. Callie Hart has confirmed that there's definitely 3. It's a trilogy for Saeris. But if we all keep buying it, which I'm sure we will because we're obsessed, there's a chance that there'll be 5. I wonder if we will visit one of these gates of hell in each book, and that will be the flow that we see.
It makes sense because in the end we went to one of these hells in this book, so maybe in brainstorm we've gone to another one.
The 4th gate of hell.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be an order, but at least one of them, something different. We have some description in this hell. So maybe in the other one, it's going to be something completely different, but it's still a hell.
There's something else we learn. Obviously, we're in Saeris' head at this point, and she's not just kind of living the moment. She's also thinking about like the future and the past and things that she's done. And she says she's worried if she doesn't make it back to the forge before dusk, the deal that she spent hours brokering will fall through. She said no deal meant no water. No water meant that the people that she cares about will not have any water. Like, they'll suffer. I just wonder what the deal was. It gets mentioned again, and we hear the name of the person that she made the deal with.
Yes.
Because he's hassling Elroy. What was the deal? Because we know that, and especially like with water, because we know that she just knows how to siphon the water because she admits to that. She admits that to herself later.
Yes.
What was the deal?
She's been maybe always thinking that she wants to take care of Hayden and send him to a different part, something better. So I don't know if maybe the deal is like find a job for him or a house or something so they can just progress.
So maybe there's like access through somewhere to get to the siphoning place or something.
Yeah.
Because she specifically says, like, if that deal falls through, we won't have any water.
Yeah.
Because they only get like a pitiful 6 ounces. And if you remember what that is when you're like feeding a baby, it's not very much. There's like 1 bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's asking her what her name is. She only lies about something. She only lied about her name. She didn't lie about her age, and she didn't lie about the ward that she was from. She says Lissa Fossick is her name. And I thought that was really weird because I'm pretty sure that's the name that Evelyn has been calling her when she wakes up in the Winter Palace. And Evelyn doesn't know her name. She's like, I've just been calling you Lissa.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know that she was calling something, but I don't recall there was exactly Lissa.
I'm pretty sure it's that because it jumps out at me.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. For me, and a specific scene when she was lying about the name, and then she says that if this bastard realized that she is Saeris Fae, that he will shit himself. This kind of like reminds me a little bit and Selena Sardassian from Throne of Glass, because she was like as well a really powerful woman, a woman with a lot of skills and really famous because of that.
This bit like also made me think of Akatar, so I'm not going to go into it just in case people haven't read it, but there is a time where the main FMC gives a name, like pretends that she's somebody else, and that name definitely comes back to haunt her later on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I wonder if Lissa Fossick is in fact a real person that she knows or knew, and we might meet them at some point.
Yeah, could be.
We get a description of Saeris as well, obviously. It's the first chapter, so she's got dark hair, blue eyes. It's not common. Could be a sign that she's got Fae blood.
Yes.
Fisher later says she must have a drop because she's an alchemist. But also, yeah, the blue eyes is not normal. And they'll come back in chapter for.
Yes, apparently in this realm, I'm guessing because it's really sunny as well with two suns there, everyone will be just dark hair, dark skin, or a little bit dark, but
Madra's not dark skin. Like everybody that is described, I don't know.
yeah, but we don't know Madra exactly what she
not
is.
even
They say
tan.
that she is human,
Yeah.
but she has blue eyes as well, and she's blonde.
Yeah.
So she doesn't fit that description of that realm.
Yeah, she doesn't fit. Does she?
So at this point, we can't be sure if she's actually 100% human, but is doing something, magic, to be more than 1,000 years old, or she's lying. She's actually a fae. In this case.
No, I don't think she's Fae. I think she's drinking vampire blood, and it sounds bonkers, but I think we get confirmation later that does actually help you.
Yeah.
Stay young. But anyway, the plague bag as well. We get a mention of the plague bag, and I can't remember what this is. Like the worst deep dive. I know we find out later that they're carrying around something to do with Madra.
Yes. Well, at this point, we know they're kind of like a believers or something. So that's like how it's presented as a religious thing.
Yeah. I'll know by next week because I'll remember. So that was like just a little bit of a description of Saeris, and we can already see that she's different.
Yes. So she lies a few things to the Guardian. She said that she has like a sickness or something that's really contagious, so much that even the Guardian feel like maybe like disgust, and straight away he take like the gauntlet out of the
Ew, you touched me.
Yes, exactly. So chair and the floor. And something that caught my attention here is when she's describing this gauntlet, because she says that it's made like by a master that's making like impenetrable by blade or magic. And that is something that caught my attention straight away, because there's not supposed to be magic in this world. And the fact that she says that not even magic can go there. So that triggers me, like it's maybe that one of the reasons that Madra had every soldier covered in gold, because maybe the magic, I don't know if it's going to be from humans or the magic from fate, is not affected by gold. So if they're trying to do something against gold, it doesn't work. And that's one of the reasons that every single one of them, they're like properly trained to find and kill faes, and their faes have no maybe a chance against them.
Yeah, so gold isn't the one for that though, is it? So it's iron. So we know that the fae in this story, some fae stories like make reference to the fact that humans just believe that iron can kill a fae, but it doesn't actually, and it's all a nonsense. But the folklore is that iron is, like vampires and silver. Well, fae can't bear contact with iron. And we know that's true because of the Gate Part 2, so the Kingfisher POV chapter.
Yes.
We are going to cover those at the end of these series, but we know that he can't touch, we know that Kingfisher has had to train himself to touch the iron. So it would be weird if the gold, but it's not the touch, is it? It's the magic.
It's the magic. So the iron affect and like the physical part of the fae, but we know that every single fae has kind of like a special skill with magic. So if maybe they're using that magic against gold, that's the part that maybe it's like a foreshadowing that it doesn't work.
I just don't really feel it, because when they go to Kalish, Saeris notes that everything is gold because there's no silver. So why would they put loads of gold in the house if their magic didn't work?
Yeah, but you're not going to use magic against, I don't know, a lamp or
a decoration.
Might
do, to switch it on, or to, because we know that like Fisher says that my magic is for like important things. But as soon as Ren finds out, he's like, come on, like Fisher uses magic for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. I get what you're saying. It's a bit of a sus mention, but there's other things about gold in this world that just don't fit that. So unless she maybe thinks that, But for me, it's just another sign that she's making a big deal out of how rich and how powerful she is by making all of her
No, I definitely think there's something else about it. So I think there's a part when even the gauntlet's kind of like talking to her, and it's because there's a little bit of Quicksilver there. So I don't know if it's maybe the combination of gold and Quicksilver or something like this. But we just started discovering this world in this first book.
Yeah. So Saeris climbs to the top of the wall, which is pretty spectacular in itself because, what is it, 50 feet?
Yeah, something like that.
Quite a lot. So when she's on top of the wall, the gauntlet starts whispering. Obviously, we later find out that is the Quicksilver or Mercury, which is an old-fashioned word. Quicksilver was the old word for Mercury. And the quartz in the sand begins to vibrate. It's not the gauntlet that's vibrating, it's the quartz in the sand. So she later gets tattoos, and they show earth, air, water, salt, brimstone, and Quicksilver. And Malcolm says something like, "You are the most powerful alchemist. You've got all of them." And obviously we know that she can manipulate the Quicksilver, or she can make the Quicksilver. She can do deals with Quicksilver to make it do what
she can communicate with the Quicksilver, yeah.
I wonder whether she will... Well, I'm not sure it's much of a theory or whether it's already, I guess we can already infer that she is going to have some kind of powers relating to earth, air, water, salt, and brimstone, as well as Quicksilver. So I was looking at what quartz is. So Google reliably tells me there is salt in sandstone. So whether it is the quartz in the sandstone that's shaking, or whether it's actually salt within the sandstone that's shaking, and she's actually discovering but not realizing that she can also manipulate the salt.
Yes.
I know, it's a bit weird.
I found that really strange, so obviously something's going on here, but...
It's not just the metal, is it?
No.
She thinks that she's like, metal does weird things around me, but it's the sandstone that's doing that. The Quicksilver is whispering to her, but I wonder if when we find out all the other things she can do, and we'll go back and we'll read that, we'll be like, oh, it wasn't the metal, it was the salt.
Maybe there's a relationship about everything, because we're going to meet Elroy. He is one person that he's using like the sun to use glass that nobody buys in this city, that everyone is just supposed.
He's making bells.
Yeah, so must be like a reason for that. Maybe this is like one of the first hints that there's something in the sand, something with this quartz. And
and
maybe
he's like making a stockpile.
Yes.
Yeah, because I just do not believe he's given up.
No.
I want to shake that man.
I think he's doing something as well, yes.
Memoirs of Luzbel. She loved him. She lost him. And he came back. But wasn't completely him. She feared him. She fought him. But she fell for him. Memoirs of Luzbel. Now available on Amazon.
Right, chapter 2, The Glassmaker.
Okay.
So, obviously, it's called The Glassmaker because we meet Elroy. But there are other things that happen in this chapter. Obviously, we also meet Carrion, right?
Yes.
We also hear about the potential rebellion. We learn a little bit about Saeris' mother. It's called The Glassmaker, though, which suggests that there is more to The Glassmaker than... anything else. I mean, we know that Carrion is a huge part of this story and a huge part of the series to come. And the whole world loves Carrion. Like, I don't know if you meet someone that has read this book and doesn't love Carrion. But Callie Hart decided to call this chapter The Glassmaker. There is far more than meets the eye to this man.
Yes. Something curious for me as a Spanish speaker is that his name is Elroy. And if you change just the O for E, it means the king, El Rey.
Oh my god! These just gave me goosebumps. How did I not spot that?
Yeah, so when I was thinking about it, like it could be this maybe a hint. There's this guy, somebody, maybe a Fae warrior from long time ago, and it's called Elroy, El Rey, the king.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the first clues that we have from Callie Hart.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, we think we know who Elroy is, don't we?
We have some clues about it, and this could be like one of the supporting if we start going into the line.
Yeah. So before we get to that, let's follow the story. So Saeris Wade is the guy that Saeris was doing a deal with. I suspect, so I'm going to put my money on this trade agreement that she broke 100% coming back to haunt her in a future book. We will find out what it was, and we will find out that it's the fact that she broke it was like quite a big deal.
Yeah, I definitely think she will come back to the third at some point. And obviously, when she goes there, it's going to be like having back all her past. And this is going to be one of those things coming back to haunt her.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Right, so let's get into Elroy. He made it his life's work to be the best glassmaker and glazier in all of Zilvarin. Not a smart move when there's virtually no market and people only want weapons.
Yes. So this is the part that we were talking about. So I understand that, okay, we live in a desert. I have plenty of material here to make glass. But if you have nowhere or no one to buy it or do something useful for that, well, is the point. But however, he is dedicating his life and he is basically the best from this world making glass. Has to be a reason for that.
There does, but he's also not on the face of it got any money. Like he needs money from Sarah, or he needs Saeris's water. So he's obviously not selling it. Even to the people that, like, you'd think if he was the best one, if you needed glass, you would go there.
Yes.
But you're not, because basically everyone can make their own glass.
Do we even know like what kind of glass he's making? It's just like, I don't know, figurines or windows or...
Glazy, I would suggest he's windows. But then later when she meets Madra, she says that Madra's voice sounds like one of Elroy's bells. So we know that he also makes little glass bells.
Yes.
Why? Who's buying them? Nobody.
Yeah.
Just a hobby. It's all right.
I mean, not a good one when there's people dying.
What's all those memes? Like, God forbid a woman has a hobby. God forbid a man has a hobby.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just a little bit, that's like a bit of a capitalist mindset.
I mean, he used to make weapons, so he could just keep making something else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something useful.
Yeah, or
not weapons, but with metals.
So he did used to make the weapons for the rebels, but he has apparently given up. So did he give up, or is he now just hiding it from Saeris in an attempt to keep her and Hayden safe? I just don't want to believe he's given up. I don't think he's making weapons, though. I think you're right. I think he might be making something else.
Yes, it's a little bit suspicious because she's describing Elroy like two completely different persons, like the past from the one in the present. And the one in the present, it looks that he feels that he lost everything, all the people that he cared about. And right now it just serves as like one of those last things that he still have, and he is really scared to lose. But
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it's something strange about this man.
Yeah. So she says, when I was little, Elroy had been a giant of a man, a legend amongst even the most dangerous criminals that ran the Third. Taller than most, broad, his back muscles straining beneath his sweat-stained shirt. Seems like he was quite the guy in his youth. He'd been a force of nature, a pillar of rock hewn out of a mountain. Immovable, indestructible. Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Elroy is 100% Fae, with the glamour of an old man now.
Yeah.
I am almost convinced that he is Kingfisher's dad, Finran. I mean, or he could be the friend that gave Kingfisher's dad his soul, because we know that definitely happened. Although I do suspect that was his mother, but Kingfisher's mommy. But, I mean, I think we've got, like, the fact that he was taller than most, he was, like, hewn out of a rock from a mountain. Like, this is Fae, isn't it?
Yes, because she described later on Carrion Swift, and she does basically the same, that he is really tall, taller than the rest of the men, at least like 1 foot taller. And we know for sure he's a Fae by the end. Elroy is described as the same, that he's really tall. And there's something about him that I really believe as well, like you, that he could be Kingfisher's dad, because he has a furnace. He is working with this kind of stuff. He used to work with the rebels. And I'm thinking that maybe when he got stuck in that realm, he was fighting against Madra, because Madra, she knew there was Fae in that world stuck, because obviously she closed the portals. And then she started with a campaign to kill all the Faes. And Elroy, or in this case, Kingfisher's dad, was fighting against her to protect his own people.
Yeah. And, like, how would Fisher know his way around a forge? Think he taught himself, or do you think his dad taught him?
Yeah.
Like, also, there is a bit of a nod to the fact that the Guardians killed Elroy's whole family, and he kind of blames Madra for that, and talks about a brother, etc. Because that's there to, like, to throw us off, I think, because Elroy's family, if he is Daddy Kingfisher, is not dead. They're just stuck in Avelia. But does he blame the fact that his sword was taken, it was put into the Quicksilver, and he couldn't get back to them, was as much was just basically a death sentence, because he knew that Bellicon would take his family and do all of that. So I don't know whether it's, like, literally killed his brother because his brother wasn't with him, unless he's talking about another Fae that went with him.
Well, we know that Kingfisher calls Renfus his brother, and there are no brothers from the same parents, but it's his brother. So it might be somebody that was really close to him, and he called his brother as well.
Yeah, there's definitely more to Elroy. I love the fact that it's Elroy as well.
Yes, 100% sure it's a Fae. Now, if is Kingfisher that... maybe like, I don't know, 70% sure it's him?
Yeah, I think it's him. Wouldn't it be good? And he was like, she said that was when she learnt that Elroy was in love with Saeris' mother. I don't necessarily think he was. He could have been there because he knew something was happening with Saeris, like he could sense her magic, or he had seen an image, although she was very young when he met her, but he could have recognized her from Adina's sketchbook.
Yeah, it's like the eyes of the face, and you could say that, it's the same face, but just little.
Yeah, so perhaps he was drawn to that family because of Saeris, not because of Saeris' mother. Yeah, and there's definitely something.
It would be really good if maybe Saeris is telling to Kingfisher that she need to go back for Elroy. She is like, no, you're not gonna do it. She do it anyway. He follow, like, really pissed off with her, finds Elroy, and then it's like, Dad?
Yeah. Also, though, she talks about how she watched him wither away piece by piece, becoming a shadow. And the shadow, like...
Another reference.
links to Kingfisher, but we know that he inherited the shadow powers from his dad.
Yeah.
So there's just a few too many threads. Like, I mean, she could be trolling us.
Totally, but at least we have like a theory with reasons.
Yeah.
At least at the moment, yes.
Yeah.
When he is asking to her to take the gauntlet out from there, because, that's dangerous. If they find out that that's even there, she said that no, she's not going to do it. Even the forgotten gods know that she won't do it. And she mentioned a lot these forgotten gods, and we know gods is a real thing in this book. So I wonder if maybe at some point we will meet any of these forgotten gods, or we find a reason that why they call it like the forgotten.
Yes, I think we know this. So Madra, when Evelyn is taking Saeris to meet the king, they walk through the hall of the gods with the statues.
Yes.
And it comes out that only Baal and Mython, the two goddesses of the sky, the sun, are the ones that remain in Silvarin. And Madra has made it like kind of a mission to make sure that all the others were forgotten. So obviously Madra had some kind of run-in with the gods.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that one of them is her, like, kind of, she is the mascot. What do they call them? Kingfisher is champion, yeah.
Yes.
So it could be that she's one of those, but she's choosing to, like, try and fight back and forget them. So the forgotten gods are the ones that are remembered in Ivelia.
Mm-hmm.
And we see them in the Hall of Mirrors in chapter 4. The statues are still there, or on the pillars, the faces of the forgotten gods. So obviously she knows about the forgotten gods, but she hasn't forgotten them, but I don't think she knows their names or what they're the gods of, because Evelyn has to teach her.
There's definitely a lot of things that Madra is doing in this realm, and it's not just the gods, because it's something about magic as well, because there's a lot of things there for services. It's just like that's just impossible, or just like something like mythical, something fantasy, but it's something that we start to see that is real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Elroy is a real glass hole here. This is what I'm going to call him, although I know that he is. So he says, "Is that what you want? To die in the street in front of Hayden? For your body to rot in the gutter like your mother's? Stinking and picked over by the crows." That's not a nice thing to say, is it?
Yes. So I think he's doing here the same thing that she will do later for Hayden, trying to just like shock him with something to make him react, or to make him do the right thing, at least the thing that you think is something that you should do. Because right now he knows that gauntlet is going to be a lot of trouble for everyone, not just for her, for everyone around her, and for the third as well. A lot of people will pay for that. And he's just trying to like say something to make her understand that this is serious.
What if he closed the gate? And because it was like hundreds of years ago. But what if he stopped fighting because he doesn't want Saeris to find a way to Kingfisher? Because he knows that Kingfisher, maybe if he's seen Adina's sketchbook, he might know that Saeris and Kingfisher are like destined to be gods bonded, and that nothing good ever, like, it's always such a tragic story.
Yeah.
One of them always dies, and he's trying to protect his son from Saeris.
It could be. Not sure if he has the power as well to maybe talk to the Quicksilver, because I generally believe if Elroy is Kingfisher, that he was generally stuck in this realm. But he
was the one that went through, and it was generally the alchemists that went through. So
yeah,
that does suggest that his dad was an alchemist.
Yeah.
And then his mum made these relics. Why would she have made them all if she didn't know an
that's the thing that I was about to say as well, that he was like really into, metal, all the stuff related to metal, creating weapons as well at the beginning. So it could be a possibility. Yes.
So anyway, she's getting pissed off with him because he's given up. And he's like, I fought, I did, like the same way that she is fighting now. He said, I gave everything I had, sacrificed every last thing I held dear. And I think that's like him sacrificing his wife, his child, in his home in Carlish.
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like he's admitting here that he sacrificed it all. And then he says, the people will suffer, the people will die. Madra has reigned over this city for 1,000 years. She will live as she has ever lived, and the beast will still feed and demand more. The cycle will go on forever until the sand swallows this cursed place, and there's nothing left of us but ghosts and dust. And then what? And then this is where we know, like, what Saeris is made of. She says, and then there'll be the people that fought for something better and the people who laid down and took it. She like spits it at him. And that's just like our first sign of what Saeris is made of. And I love it. Like,
yes.
She's such a good main character, isn't she?
Yes, that even when she knows that she has everything against her, she doesn't give up.
Yeah.
She knows that she needs to just keep fighting. And that's what it makes the difference. Even when maybe she can't see like a victory or that she will win by the end, but it's the best way.
Yeah. So Elroy is worried they'll find out about Saeris's powers and what she can do with the metal. So we now get the confirmation that the gauntlet was not a one-off and that she's been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
And Elroy knows about it, which just, again, seems to be confirmation there's more to Elroy. She leaves the forge. She takes the gauntlet with her.
Yes.
She's going to find her brother Hayden. Hayden and Saeris are not siblings. That's not even half siblings.
They're not related.
I don't think they're related at all. Although, sorry, this is just a theory. This is not confirmed.
Nice statement, yes.
Yeah. But they're not alike at all based on the description. So she says, where I was dark-haired, he was light. His hair was curly to the point of chaos, and there was so much of it. His eyes were a rich liquid brown and bore a gentleness to them that her blue eyes did not. The cleft in his chin came courtesy of our dead father, his proud straight nose from our dead mother. She doesn't hear say anything about what she got from her mother or her father. She said she used to call him a summer child. She'd never seen snow, but that was what I had been to her. Her ice storm, distant, cold, and sharp.
Yeah.
So she is clearly different to Hayden. She doesn't seem to have inherited anything from her mother or her father. I don't think her parents were actually her parents. We know that Zoreth placed her there or did some things to cause some chaos so that she would be born in the wrong realm. But was she born or was she just put there? Like, who are Saeris's parents?
Yes, I was thinking the same at the beginning. I wasn't sure if maybe they were like maybe half brothers, half siblings. But when she said that dark hair, blue eyes is not like a common thing there, she doesn't say anything related like the parent that she had, like the parent, like the mother or the father eyes.
She's like,
or
I
hair.
got his nose from the mum, but she could have been like, I got her cheekbones. She didn't say anything about what he got.
So what I started to think is that maybe this family found her, kind of like Hercules. They just found her in the mountains and something, and they just raised her.
Yeah.
Or maybe Elroy found her and then they just give it to this family because she knew that, he knew.
She needed a mother.
That she was, But,
and that's why he stuck around. Yeah. So Hay Deadweight is in the gutter, having been thrown out of the house of Carla after losing a bet to Carrion and getting beaten up.
Yeah.
She said that Hayden adopted a wolfish grin And I was like, starting to get really unhinged and started thinking, well, there's vampires. There might be wolves as well. In this story, there might be werewolves. Hayden could be a werewolf.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. You want to include everything in this story?
I was being really silly, but then I was like, how am I being that silly? I don't know. It's unhinged. Why not?
We just mentioned it just in case.
We know there's wolves because the Lupo, well, we know they're described as a pack. The Lupo Proelia, they have a wolf gorget, like wolf on a sword and stuff. It's definitely, wolves are a key point. So the fact that it said a wolfish grin, I was like, because also Hay Deadweight must be more important than he's letting on, because Zoreth at the end of the book describes Saeris as Hayden's sister. And you're like,
why?
Why? Something going on with Hay Deadweight, but he is a bit of a prick in this bit. Anyway, enter Carrion Swift, the most notorious gambler, cheat, and smuggler in the entire city. He was also uncommonly good in bed, the only man in Sylvarin who'd ever made Seraph scream his name out of pleasure rather than frustration. His bright auburn hair was a signal flare in the dimly lit tavern.
Mm-hmm. And also, she described it as a really tall man.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of the first hints that we got that he wasn't a normal man.
Yeah, he has a feather bed as well and stuff. So he's obviously been around long enough to make enough money to get a feather bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some suspicion about Carrion that over and above what we already know. But so Bryn, the barkeeper, is not having any of it. She's like threatening Saeris with a ladle, and Saeris thinks that actually it might have been Bryn that did so much damage to Hayden to try and get him out. And then she says, "Sorry, Bryn, but he swore he'd leave him be. What am I supposed to do? Just let him get away with it?" So did Bryn do it and Carrion didn't actually touch him? Or did Carrion not take the Fae oath because he was in Sylvarin the whole time? So can Carrion lie?
I'm not sure exactly how it works, because Kingfisher said that, yes, Fae can't lie. But
only if they choose that path.
Yes. I'm not sure if maybe it's like a culture thing or it's like a physical thing. Their face literally can't lie. But Carrion has been living as a human for a long time to maybe just be as a human as well. Yeah. And maybe he can do it.
It seemed like a right. Like you got to maybe 18. Not 18. I don't know. 180. I don't know. And you have to take this, like, you have to do this ritual. And then after that, you can't lie.
Yeah, maybe if you would raise as a human, obviously.
You don't do the ritual.
To that. Or we need to pay attention to the fine print and find out actually what he was swearing to her, what he won't do. And maybe just because of that, he's not broken. I don't think he would lie. I think he is like a good Fae. Yeah. Because it suggests that if you don't take that oath and you choose the other way, then you become like a bad Fae. Yeah. I don't think Carrion would do that. So I think we should pay really close attention to what Carrion says from now on, now that we know that he's Fae. So Bryn, really interesting. Bryn had a surname, but no one knew it. When asked, she'd say she'd lost it as a child and had never bothered. Where she was from, Carla meant funeral, and Bryn didn't appreciate being likened to death. Bryn is Fae. I know that I'm just going to say everyone is Fae. It's like everyone is Venom. Yes, but like an Imperial series. Yeah, but hear me out on this one. Protect your name at all costs. We don't know Kingfisher's name. We don't know, although I do think Carrion knows his name, because Carrion's been rifling around in his mum's journals. Yeah. I think Carrion knows his name. But she lost it. How convenient. She doesn't want anyone to know it. And where she's from, Carla meant funeral.
What is that language? Is it like an ancient Fae language? Like older than the Fae language that they already speak? Because we know they speak the same language in Avelia and Silvarin. Bryn is Fae.
Yes, I generally believe that there's a community of Fae living in the third, the one that got stuck after the Quicksilver was shutting down. They just stay there and then just trying to survive. But I think we will see there's still like a little community of Fae just hiding themselves.
I think Bryn knows that Carrion is Fae. I think that's why she's like so protective of him.
Yes, yeah, I believe that as well.
Yeah. So Carrion has sparkling blue eyes like Saeris. Are they related? Are we going to have some weird situation where they're like, ew, we're related?
No, I think it's just giving us hint that they're fates or they are like not completely humans. We know Karen, he's not. And we start to see later on that there's something about Saeris as well, that she has a touch. Maybe.
Madra has blue eyes as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Carrion was always the tallest person in the room by at least a foot, broad across the shoulders, and held himself with a confidence that made girls all over Silvarin swoon, and girls all over Bookstagram and BookTok swoon as well. On the reread, it is obvious he is Fae, but the tall comment makes me come back to Elroy.
Yes, because it was described the same.
Yes.
Taller and big, like a rock, a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carrion has heard about the gauntlet. He has ears in every ward, obviously. And Saeris thinks that he doesn't live in the third ward anymore. And he says, you know I do, because my grandma. But this made me think about how he stayed hidden for such a long time in the third. Because you'd be like, this guy is just not aging. Like, what is going on with him? I think that he could be living in all the wards and he just rotates around at different times. And because we know that there's massive walls, so they don't talk, they don't interact between them. So you could have a double life if you could find a way through, like, I don't know, through the sewage gates or whether it's like over the walls. Like, he's got a warehouse just outside the third. I think he's living like multiple lives. And the question is, does he control his own glamour? Can he change his appearance when he goes into a different ward? Like, it's like Fisher's dad put the glamour on him so that you couldn't see his ears.
It's the only thing that you can't see, isn't it? It's not that the face has changed or the body or anything, just the ears. Just because it's human,
Yeah, but then, and maybe the teeth. Because you would have like elongated canines.
Does he have canines by the end? Because that's like all the one who got curls, isn't it?
Oh, maybe not. Because
he's like
protected.
Yeah, he has like the cure for that.
That's probably why they knew, isn't it? Probably how they knew. I don't know. We need the description. And he definitely has pointed ears by the end.
Yeah, because he's totally Fae.
Yeah. So I just have a suspicion that he's able to like move ward, and it's his he says he's looking after his granny. That's just this time. Like, what does he do all the rest of when he's supposed to be an old man?
Yeah.
So we learn that Carrion has a warehouse. She just says just beyond the second spoke. So I presume that's the second ward.
Yeah.
Wonder how he gets there. Are there tunnels, or does he just have some kind of power that he can?
Well, I think he mentioned that he had like assistant to pass from one ward to another one. So I was assuming there was tunnels, like these drug lords, they passing the drug from one country to another one. They just make tunnels and then they start to snuggle in.
Sorry, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, just Columbus stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So he wants the gauntlet out of the third, and Saeris, like, they're getting drunk. She has an entire glass, like a big tumbler of whiskey. She will fix it, she says, but she stepped out into the brilliant evening. Hayden was gone, and so was the gauntlet.
Yeah. I remember that when I was reading this, I was like, oh, shit.
Did you really think everything was going to be fine?
Yeah, I think he would be just waiting there. He had no clue that he was a good boy, and they're going to melt the gauntlet somehow.
Yeah. So you thought they would actually melt it down?
Yeah. I thought that would be like part of the plot, but no,
Yeah.
didn't manage to that.
Chapter 3.
Yes, so we're going to carry on with the kindness purpose.
Yes. So this is because she says something pretty mean in a bid to keep Hayden safe at the end of the chapter. So the purpose is ultimately good because she's trying to get him out of there, but it's harsh. Will she regret it or will she see him again? That's the question.
I think she will see him again.
100%.
It seems that he had like a really good life, tends to carry on.
Well, he's got to come back as a werewolf, hasn't he? This is going to be my equivalent of like Malek.
Nolan is Malek.
Yeah, we should be careful with spoilers. I'm very. Well, it's not a spoiler because it's absolutely nonsense. It's a nonsense theory. Okay.
So he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Deadweight is a werewolf. Speaking of Hey Deadweight, Saeris is jogging through the street looking for him. She's passing stalls. We get some like really juicy world building in this bit. She is passing stalls selling pungent herbal remedies from the north. So this makes me wonder what magic exists in the human realm. If you look at the map of the Fae realm, we know that the witches live in the north, so the Balkida clan. Are there witches here too? And are they living in the north? And when we meet them, and are they making herbal remedies?
Yeah, I'll start thinking that it's kind of like, in the Stranger Things, when you go into like the other side, there's maybe like the same of the world, but it's just flipped. And then you have like dark stuff and like different things, but similar. So I'm thinking that maybe here, like the location, like for example, when the witches are and the other realm, the kind of stuff, there's like a connection here as well. And I'm thinking that yes, even when it's different realm, it's still kind of like a structure or there's a connection there.
There's also wanted posters of suspected magic users. This felt like undesirable number 1. This is my first Harry Potter reference of the episode.
Well done.
It made me think of that and like they're trying to hunt out the magic users. Saeris isn't on them, so they don't know them. Right, Rojana Breen. I'm saying Rojana because
Spanish.
Yeah. Sorry, Rojana. Breen trades in food and water. Is she magic?
I know. I thought when I was reading this that she was like the only one that was doing something kind of like normal.
It's illegal. She would have her hands chopped off, but it's not. I wouldn't get her killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm undecided on this one. It's just that her mother sent her there a lot. So and her mum was like clearly in with the Fae if she knew that who Elroy was.
Yeah.
And Saeris is a Fae name, so she obviously does. She also worked in the library for a bit, so she's like anyway. More interestingly, Vorath Shah. So he peddles snake oil, tiny fragments of metal that he claimed contained traces of arcane magic. Quicksilver. The stuffed stinking feet of sand rabbits.
Nice.
That was said to ward off disease. Sounds a bit like it might bring disease. Glass vials full of cloudy liquids that were supposed to bestow gifts upon you if you drank them. Gifts that had long since been lost to us. Humans were no longer capable of reading each other's minds. Or making the blood boil in their enemies' veins, or granting themselves eternal luck. Everybody knew that we'd been stripped of those heretical powers hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
But Shah still made a handsome living selling useless trinkets to the hopeful and desperate. He had outlandish explanations for the eternal question that all Zilvarans asked in hushed whispers behind closed doors. How, after over 1,000 years, did the Queen still live? Madra was human, so why didn't she die? He claimed to have access to the font of her eternal youth and peddled that in bottles too. So I thought at first that Zorath Shah was almost certainly a Fae.
Yeah.
I actually wonder if he's a vampire. or one of the old vampire Faes, but in control. I have a theory that he is selling vampire blood, because later we learn of another queen who is immortal, and she is said to... Her mother gave her part of her soul to save her when she was a child, and then she is not dying, so her mother is trapped in this perpetual state of like limbo between the living and the dead, and she's not allowed to move on. We're told that story because it's the link to Kingfisher and Loreth and Fisher's dad and an unknown person. But it also talks about how she still does not look a day older than she did when she was like 20 or something.
Yeah.
And the reason that they give for that is that she drinks vampire blood. So I wonder whether the font of her youth that he claims to have access to is vampire blood. And where would he be getting that from unless there were vampires in the realm?
Unless he is a vampire.
He could be a vampire.
His own blood and something like that. I definitely think this Vorath is a Fae. I don't think that maybe every single thing that he's selling is the real thing. Maybe some of them are real and some of them are just placebos or just thing to make a living. But definitely think that some of the stuff he knows what he's talking about. Caught my attention as well when they're talking about the magic that the human used to have before. They used to able to talk and mentally be able to boil the blood of the enemies. And I wonder if maybe we will see this eventually, if maybe we start to see more connection between this realm and the one from the Faes, and we see more interaction, and maybe there's more magic, and the humans start to recover all that knowledge the Madra had like forbidden. When they were mentioning about like the fund for Madra's youth, what it comes to my mind, not the vampire blood, but I was thinking about this mythical fund of the eternal youth. There's always been a myth, and I was just wondering if maybe here it's gonna be like a real thing. So it's gonna be it's a fun there. She goes there, have a shower or drink that water, and that's what it keeps us young. Yeah.
So we know relatively little about the magic system in this book, which is amazing for the first book. We know about alchemists. We know about oracles. But we know that Fisher has shadow powers. He also has the power to create illusions. And then we know that Ren has the power of light, and he can also make portal doors that travel much further than Fisher's shadow gates, right?
Yes.
So we don't know how they get the powers apart from like genetics suggested that they get it from the parents. So it's like a genetic power that gets passed down.
Heritage, yeah.
Yeah, what has Evelyn got? Is it everyone that gets these powers? Is it just a few? Is it something that just the Lupa Paralia have? What is Belacon's power?
Yeah, not sure if it's something that belongs to every single Fae, or it's just maybe the warriors that they do something to get that as maybe like
but
a
Fisher's
right.
mom, Fisher's mom had it. So like maybe she was a warrior.
Yeah, like a different one. You know, talking about the Imperium, you have people, they have like perfect weapons. And then you have other people, they have like really useful things like Auric.
Yeah.
There's no weapon, but it makes the difference.
Yeah.
So
I think he's talking about these types of powers. He's talking about the same types of powers that some of the Fae have. And possibly he's not talking about humans at all, but he's talking about when Fae lived in that world, because they share the language. It used to be Faes, but Madra has banished them all. So I think he's talking about that. And he's almost certainly like a really old, either Fae or vampire.
I don't know, because in the end, Saeris is like a human. At least she looked like a human, and she has this power. So maybe there was hybrids. If some Fae start to have relationships with humans, and then we start to have some hybrids. So it look like human, but has some Fae power.
Yeah.
It's something that totally I will write about.
Yeah.
Hybrids.
Yeah. So Saeris is running through the streets. We learn that people loved her mother. There are more inconsistencies between her mother than anything else in this book. Apart from, like, there's a few in the timeline that I think have been corrected in the latest version. But I'm really confused about Saeris's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it will all get tied together and it's not a, like, editing error. But people loved her. She worked in the library. Those I can, like, rationalize as a character. But then there was people spitting on her in the street when she died and, like, saying some really nasty things because she was a prostitute. Was she a librarian by day and prostitute by night, or were they two different times in her life? Was she loved at the same time as she was hated, or were they two different times in her life? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was two different distinct times in her life, and she made some decisions and she went downhill. Something happened, didn't it? And hopefully we'll get this resolved by a little bit of an understanding of who Saeris's mother was, because it feels like she's got two different mothers at this point. Maybe she does. There's just some things that I'm sure we're going to learn about, and I hope it all gets tied up. But at the moment, like, she says one thing about her mother, and I can't rationalize that with everything else.
So it's kind of like a little bit with Elroy. At the beginning, they were like this warrior, this was so amazing, a legend, and then ends this way. So maybe it was a little bit the same for her. Start as a librarian and end.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out, hopefully. Right, so we get a mention of the two suns. The larger of the two suns, rimmed with a strange blue corona. Why? I thought that they were identical twins, so it feels odd that there would be one that's larger than the other. It might be that it's closer, but the blue corona feels, I don't know, important.
I know. When I was reading this, my first thought was that maybe the actual gods, the proper twins, at this point, they're just watching, like physically watching from the suns, maybe taking the shape of the suns or something to watch what Saeris is doing here.
Yeah, there is a little bit in a while where she says it was all luck, good or bad, and luck could change at any moment. And I wonder if this blue corona is to do with the twins intervening.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden she does dispatch 3. I think Harren says she's killed 2 and mortally wounded 1, but I thought she killed 3. But anyway, I'll stand corrected by Captain Harren because he was there.
Yeah.
I wasn't. But I wonder if that's why she was given a little bit of luck by Bal and Mithen.
Yeah, could be.
Sylvarin sounds awful at this point as well because she's running through the town and she gets a lungful of blistering sand particles.
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
The city there is just for people to die. It's not to prosper or to bloom or anything. It's just, if you are there, it's because they just want you to die eventually. So it's not going to be pretty.
She says ill luck had rolled the dice against our grandparents, which was why we found ourselves quarantined in a plague ward. So this is even more so the case with Saeris, isn't it? Because she was placed there by Zoreth. So luck had rolled the dice, and she had been the god of chaos has rolled the dice here. Also, it says a plague ward, not the plague ward, suggesting that it's not just the third that she's trying to kill. Is she trying to get rid of all of the wards? Yeah. And it's just the hub that she's kind of protecting? Are they all bad? But the third seems the worst.
Yes, I think there's a massive difference between the third and the second one, the one that's after this one. And like I said, the third one is just being built just to make sure that the people who are there, they're just going to die.
And is there only 3?
So far, there's not a 4th.
We haven't heard of it.
They were already dead. So it's coming from outside too. Inside.
Yeah, maybe. But it's sad. It's like a really sad situation that they're in the third.
Yeah.
So she talks about Harren, Captain Harren. There were no lines framing his eyes, so he's not got wrinkles. But his dark brown irises held a bottomless eternity within them that made a chill skitter down the backs of my legs. And I think this is like a link to the fact that he's eternal. And the bottomless eternity just kind of suggests that something is going on in there that's not really normal. Yeah. So we learn that Saeris' mother hid rebels in their attic and they trained Saeris to fight. So my theory is that Saeris' mother knew that Saeris should have been Fae, or at the very least, it was her displays of magic that meant she turned rebel to protect her. So coming back to the fact that she had a shift in life, that she was a librarian and seemed like everybody loved her, and then she turned prostitute and rebel, and wonder if it was because of Saeris displaying the magic and she knew she had to protect her, so she needed to teach her to fight, and the way to do that was go underground, basically.
Yeah, I generally believe the rebels, they were either all of them Fae or they were trained by the Fae, because in the way they describe how Saeris fight is like Fae combat, Fae training. So her mother, definitely, she knew there was something special about her, and she wanted to make sure that she had everything to survive in this world, because maybe she has a destiny, maybe she knew something about it, and she just wanted to give it all the tools that she had at that moment. And I think she did it really well.
Saeris absolutely takes down 2 of the Guardians and maims another, apparently. They're going to let Hey Deadweight go and take Saeris to the palace. And this is where she says, just do as you're told for once in your life. Just fucking go. I don't need your help. I don't want you following after me, blubbering like a little brat who needs his hand held all of the time. It was harsh, but sometimes the cruel things we said served the kindest purpose. And then Hayden is really sad, and he's like, I didn't realise I was such a burden. He whispered, actually, I didn't realise I was such a burden.
And she listened.
Well, you are, Hayden. Your entire fucking life. That's all you've been. Now leave me alone. Don't follow me. Don't come looking for me. Go.
Yeah.
What she says. How will it be when they're reunited? He can't be dead anyway, can he? Because he's important.
Yeah.
Well, we think he's important. And they're going to see each other again. So how will it be? Will he have... I think that'll be the kick up the bum he needs.
I don't think at this moment he is feeling angry with her. He must be worried because he knows that she'd been taken to see Madras, and for him, she's still there, because we know by Carrion that Elroy goes every single day asking for her. So he must know as well that she is there, and is there because of him. So I think once they can see each other, it's going to be like something really emotional.
Yeah, I think that this is the start of Hey Deadweight's I'm not going to be a deadweight anymore arc, and he's going to be like
the one that's going to be now there for her.
Well, he's going to have to be, because, well, I mean, she's a vampire fae now.
Yes.
She doesn't need him, but he is going to have to look after himself now, because he looks at Saeris when she arrives and he's like, oh, finally, you're here. You'll save it. You'll fix it.
Yes.
Because that's all she's been doing her whole life. So this will be the, like, slap in the face that he needs, the bucket of cold water.
Yes. I generally think that next time that we're going to see him, it's going to be a completely different man.
He's going to be like Loras.
Yeah.
He's going to be some kind of ultimate warrior.
Yes. Yeah. He's going to have his Rocky Balboa moment as well.
Exactly. Chapter 4, The Price.
Okay. Yeah, so basically this chapter is talking about what the people has to pay if they take something from Madras. So if you take something from her, you will pay the price. And that's what we're going to find out by the end of this chapter.
Yes. The chapter opens with Saeris remembering daydreams about becoming the Queen's favourite lady's maid and being dressed in the finest dresses and given the finest foods. And it's kind of the position that she finds herself in the Winter Palace in a few chapters' time. She's not a lady's maid, but she is wearing those pretty dresses. And I mean, she has to eat that awful cheese that she can't swallow. Anyway, yeah, it feels like just wait a few chapters and you will be in that situation. Anyway, her daydreams evolved into her fantasizing about killing Madra. She said she'd planned every minute possibility and eventuality, and decided that it could be done. She could break in and she could kill Madra. So after what happened to Malcolm,
Mhm.
if we believe he's actually dead, we'll come back to that later in the series. But I think we can expect that she will, in fact, be the one to kill Madra.
Yeah, I took this one as a foreshadowing that maybe she will be the one who will kill the siblings. So Malcolm was maybe the first one. It's going to say at the moment.
Well, she'll have to be quick because it felt like they were like connected, and unless she kills all of them,
Yeah,
none of them are dead. 3 books, 3 big baddies. Madra will be next.
yeah.
Bellicon last.
Do you think? I think there's gonna be Madra last
Do you?
because Madra was basically like the first big bad guy that she has to like face. So it would make sense if she is the last. Because in the end, she didn't have any business with Bellicon. Bellicon is just by the end, he just
Yeah,
came back
good
as a
point.
bad guy.
Yeah, good point. You might have convinced
So
me.
maybe
already.
Bellicon is going to face as Kingfisher. Kingfisher, I think, had more right to kill him
Yeah.
after everything.
Yeah, and we know that the next book, so Brimstone, has much more Kingfisher POV. It's like
yeah.
60-40, she said.
Yes.
So maybe he gets the final blow.
I'm expecting that, to be honest. I'm hoping.
Would he become king?
Half, because he's still like the king stepson.
Yeah, but it's not his blood, is it?
No.
But it sounds like Bellicon was an illegitimate king anyway.
Yeah, so
Elroy will come back and be king. It's all going to be fine.
name Kingfisher as the new king.
Yeah.
Because he's happy just making glass in the bed. Fun hobby,
It's his
finally.
hobby. And then there's no sand in some. There's no sand in Avelia.
Yeah, I can't make glass with us now, so no.
You can make lots of water. But we've already got lots of that.
Snowman. Still to sell snowman.
That is the kind of thing you would do. What have we got loads of? What is nobody wanting right now? Snow. That really made me laugh. Moving on.
Okay.
Why is that so funny? Snow Fae.
Snow Fae, yes.
You have to get the ears right.
You have to put the carrots on the side instead of the
Next time it snows, we are making a Snow Fae.
Yes, it's going to be a new tradition here in this house.
Carrots for ears. That's cool.
Okay, moving on. So Captain Harron asked her that where did you learn to fight like that? And I think this is one of the reasons that when we see Carrion fighting against Ren, Saeris have more chances than him because they're fighting in the same style. And Carrion probably he didn't have to fight because he was more like hiding and running. And
Well, he was learning from books, wasn't he?
yeah,
Because it said, like, prepare for war.
yeah. But Saeris was probably training by either Fae or people that were trained by Fae. Yeah.
Yeah, but Carrion's had, like, a good 1,000 years or something, hasn't he? He's still not.
Still not good enough. Well,
Harren says, these are your last hours in the Silver City. He thinks that's like a sign that she's going to die. It's because he's going to kill her. But actually, they are her last few hours in the Silver City.
yes.
She's going to move house, move home to Avelia. This is where we find out that people in the third only get a pitiful 6 ounces of water a day. And Captain Harren is talking about how it's a disease, like the third ward is diseased and there's a disease spreading. And Saeris is saying that it's not actually a disease, it's descent. And that is why Madra wants to keep them all there, because they uprise and then they can't, if they trap them within the walls, the wildfire can't spread.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of fencing them off from the rest of society in the hope that the descent doesn't spread around.
Yeah, basically what she says is if you ask questions, just send to the third. because I mean that you are not allowed to have your own opinion. You have to just obey what Madra says, and if you don't agree, then there's a place for you.
Yeah. And there's a quote here that like I think goes down in at least romantasy, but fantasy as like a really cool quote. She says, "Do you know much about metalwork, Captain? I do. It's under the most unbearable conditions that the sharpest, most dangerous weapons are forged. And we are dangerous, Captain. She's turned us all into weapons." There's two things I want to say about this. Like, one, it shows that is true in real life. So you find that the oppressed are often the ones to rise up the most, ultimately. And it gives me like Les Mis vibes. Do you hear the people sing? That one.
For me, it was more Kelly Clarkson. What doesn't kill you make you stronger?
Maybe. We have
What a
different
contrast.
takes on that. And I do think that we might get a third ward uprising at some point. And, you know, like there could be this battle and the third ward come to Saeris's aid.
Yeah.
And they've all been training underground, and Elroy brings whatever he's been working on. It's like
Weapon, metal, glass
cannon.
glass robot or something. Like
And then the third ward rises up, and that is like she's turned them all into weapons.
Yeah.
I think that would be quite cool. So before Saeris enters the room, so they're walking up all these stairs, and he's like forcing her because she's got to go and see Queen Madra. A very, very suspicious line, which I didn't notice on my first read, obviously. So before she enters the room, there is an uneasy prickle in the tips of her ears as Harren shoved her through the doors. So this is the Hall of Mirrors. The Quicksilver is there. The god statues are all in there. This tingling in her ears is like her destiny to be Fae, right?
Yeah.
And she was supposed to be Fae, whether it's the Quicksilver, the magic in the Quicksilver, or whether it is the bond calling her from Kingfisher, from through the Quicksilver, because she is so drawn to this pool or this, like, she calls it like a dusty platform. She doesn't really notice, she doesn't know what it is at this stage. But she was supposed to be Fae. It's fate, it's everything, and it's prickling in the tips of her ears, which is just so obvious.
Yes, because it's one of the things that this god at the end, the god of Eos, yes, he said that it was like, doesn't matter in which run put every single one of them, they like always found a way to be together. So here it was just like happening again. It was like she was going to that point where she's going to see Kingfisher again. Yeah.
Coming back to the chapter title, The Price, I do think that these chapter titles are quite clever because they're really obvious for one reason, but like the climb, it could symbolize something else. The price could also be to do with this like destiny, the tingling in her ears, like the price that she'll pay to be with the one that she's fated to be with. I think you could like twist the title to mean a few things, but anyway, Saeris notices a dusty platform with what she thinks is a lever, and she calls it a lever a few times. We know now that is Solus, the sword, Kingfisher's daddy's sword.
Yes.
It was as if the platform was like drawing her towards it. And again, like I think this is the mating bond. I think this is like the god's bond through the Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Harren says the room used to be a hall of mirrors, but this is not literally mirrors. But probably like the one in the Palace of Versailles, which is like what links the king and the queen's rooms. It's like really fancy. I used to go there quite a lot. It's like my favourite place to go on a Sunday when everything was closed when I used to live in Paris. I used to just go to Versailles because it was like there's cafes and stuff open and it was just always really sunny.
Yeah.
And I think I had this like special pass where I could go into the Palace of Versailles all the time. I don't know what I was doing, just like wandering around. So Yeah, there's the famous Hall of Mirrors is in the Palace of Versailles, but it's really just a long gallery that links the king's and the queen's bits, and it has lots of arched windows, doors. But this place feels really dark and like not windowed. It feels like shut off.
Yeah.
And the reason it was called the Hall of Mirrors is that it was just like glass and shiny things, because mirrors, it didn't actually mean mirrors. You'd use the word, it was just a way of saying like anything shiny was described as a mirror, even if you couldn't see a reflection in it. So I think it could possibly have been named the Hall of Mirrors because of the Quicksilver pool, because it would have been reflective, but it wasn't necessarily a mirror. Yeah. But I think it's kind of like just shows Queen Madra's power and wealth. But I did do the research into it for this and looked at the word, and it did just mean that it was shiny things.
So we see the dour faces of the long forgotten ghosts, just like in the hallway on the way to see Belicon and the Winter Palace when we get there in a few chapters time. So we see as well some similarities here between this realm and the other one where all the faces are here. So it's kind of like I said before, there's a little bit like the Stranger Things that you had two different worlds, but they share maybe like the structure or some similarities there.
Yeah, I think it's like linking the history of the two realms, isn't it? And they once had the same gods, but now only two, the sons, are worshipped. So the twin daughters.
So Saeris is in this dark room, only with the captain, and then from the darkness, Madra appears. Saeris says that the Queen Madra just emerged from the darkness. It's like, she said that it's like she was made of it. And reminds me of Kingfisher, because Kingfisher does that a lot as well. And I wonder if is here a hint as well about like Fae power from Madra's part. And if I is this, then it seems there's like the sense Kingfisher that maybe just camouflage in the dark or using the darkness as something that she can wield.
Maybe. Madra has blue eyes, like Saeris, which we know is rare in Zilvarin. That also is a sign of Fae. I'm surprised that you haven't picked up her name and the similarity to a Spanish word. Madre.
Yeah.
Is she of the same line as Saeris? Could she actually be Saeris's mother? And possibly Saeris's real mother was like a lady's maid.
Yeah.
And took the baby. Did something for the baby.
Oh, maybe not like mother, but great.
Yeah. It's weird. Like an Elroy, Madre.
Yeah.
No, there could be something, couldn't there?
I mean, we knew that at the beginning, Rebecca Jarros used Scottish Gaelic as inspiration for some names. Maybe
Callie Hart
is using Spanish name as inspiration.
Yeah. She could be somebody's mother. She's not Kingfisher's mother, because she was there before that.
Not Kingfisher, but I don't know. Somebody else.
Somebody linked to Saeris, possibly. There's the other blue eye link.
Yeah.
She doesn't wear a crown, although she's got an awful lot of other bling. Saeris notes that is odd. Why might she not wear a crown? Might she have been worried that Saeris would steal it? Or does she never wear a crown? Does the crown not belong on her head? So some kind of magic where she can't wear it because it only, like how you can't touch one of the god swords.
Yeah.
Possibly she can't even touch the crown because she's not worthy of it.
Normally, crowns are made of gold. And maybe if she is a fae, like I was saying before, if maybe the gold is something that interfere with magic, then maybe it can reveal something about her that she's doing.
Maybe. I just still don't buy it because there's so much gold in the Fae world because there's no silver.
Yes, but again, it's just something they put in maybe in the furniture or something as a decoration or something they're wearing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's strange that she said that she doesn't have a crown, but like in real life, the king or the queen in England, not always they wearing a crown.
Yeah,
just
you're
like
right.
a
It's too
ceremonial
heavy.
thing. Yeah.
Too heavy. There's quite a good clip, I think, or a video of a kid asking the queen why she didn't wear a crown. Wait, am I thinking
That was
of
Peppa Pig. True events. If it's in Peppa Pig.
Is it actually?
Yes.
I think that was inspired by a real life moment.
Yeah, real moment by Pedro Pony.
I think it was inspired by a real life moment. I do. Sue me. Right. I do think it was. It's
Maybe.
very heavy.
Yes. It's a few kilos that you had to put there, and obviously.
They have to practice wearing it for the coronation day. I think that's what I've seen. Might have even been the crown. Another fictional, although slightly better than Peppa Pig.
Yes.
Anyway.
So here there's like a little bit of interrogations on Madra as to Saeris if she'd been trained by the Faes. And Saeris is thinking like, whoa, what she's talking about? Is she going crazy? Like the Fae, what she's talking about? And she started to remember like all the bad stories about the Fae. They were like cannibals and these like horrible things. And that must be Madra from maybe 1,000 years ago. She started to tell these stories about the Fae. So if somebody for some reason find a Fae, they start to be scared of them, like a plan to exterminate all the Fae that were in the kingdom.
Yeah, I really like that. Like kind of a negative PR campaign against the Fae.
Yes, that's what we'll do like a politician in this case, just go against the other ones. The bad ones were the good ones.
Yeah, I think this whole bit as well does suggest that Madra was the one who shut the portal, as they basically say that she did it on page. Like everybody thinks she's the one that did it. I wondered if it was actually Daddy Kingfisher that did it to try and cut the gate to Avelia, if he knew about the relationship between Bellicon, Malcolm and Madra, and he was trying to sever the three-way like tie. But she does seem so paranoid. It seems like it was her. She's like, they found a way through. I need to come and check the pool. And it does seem like it was her, doesn't it, in this part?
Yeah. I agree.
Also, Saeris, like the werewolf comment I had earlier.
Yeah.
She says, did she believe in unicorns too? And I was like, wait, are there going to be unicorns in this book as well?
Of course, there's magic here. It has to be unicorns as well. And then if you drink the blood of a unicorn, you live forever.
Oh, I mean, it's been done. It's definitely,
That's the secret,
but you live a half life, a cursed life.
It totally feels Madra.
Yeah.
Live forever and being cursed.
Yeah, so maybe she's not drinking vampire blood. Maybe she's drinking
unicorn blood. Yeah.
Unicorn blood. Also, coming back to my point about the crown and her not being worthy of the crown, she says, tell me, what will they do in this like really sickly sweet voice? Like Umbridge, maybe. What will they do if I don't return these arid, worthless, barren sand dunes to them? So this is like evidence here that they were Fae lands and she took them from them. Yeah. How? How did she take them from them? And also, that can't be all there is, right, in Sylvarin. Why would she want it if it was just this barren, arid... Like, she wanted it for all the glass stuff that Elroy is making? The glass cannon? I don't know.
She has dominated the glass market in all the realms.
Yeah.
Has to be something with the sun, because we know that the quartz are doing something here, so they maybe are taking magic from that, or because the sun, you can make like magical objects, and that's what Elroy is doing.
Yeah, or because it gives her access to this fountain of youth. However she's doing it. Maybe that's why it's such a famous area.
Yeah.
How did the Fae find it in the first place through the Quicksilver? What were they looking for? Because we know that the alchemists have to just think about what they're looking for and they arrive there. Mm-hmm. Why did Kingfisher's dad take Carrion to this particular place? why did they find it in the first place? Because it might be that they were looking for somewhere rich in salt, like although you'd think it would be somewhere. Yeah, because when water, if it used to be a lot of sea and it evaporated, you'd have a lot of salt in the sand.
Yeah.
Because we know that there's certain types of alchemists that have connection to salt and brimstone and earth and air and water. Possibly it's the salt that drew them there, and there's some magic connected to that. I don't know. But I think there's lots of cool things that we can think about over the next few weeks.
Yes, definitely.
So she says the Fae were warmongers, cannibals, beastly creatures with no temperance, sense of morality. Like, she's got a really good sense of morality.
Of course.
Nor any notion of mercy, which, again, sounds familiar, Madra. Anyway, this is the first hint of the vampires and the feeders, because she's describing them as beastly creatures with no temperance and cannibals. So, yeah, so this is our first hint that there are vampires and feeders around.
Yes. But then, after all of that, she has enough. And then she ordered to the captain to kill her. And then as well to kill all the people from the third. And that is the end of the chapter.
And the end of the fine print. Goodness me, that was a long one. We thought we would fly through the first few chapters, didn't we? But there is just so much word building, so many foreshadows. So many foreshadows, is that the right word? So much foreshadowing. Yeah, we just needed to take it slow.
Yes, we're just putting too many details.
We're like the king and queen of the fine print, I think, at this stage. I don't think anyone goes as line by line as we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, that's a bold claim. So we are going to turn the pages of Adina's sketchbook for the first time. This is the part of the show where we channel our inner eye, as Mummy Kingfisher would, and put our oracle skills to the test in the hope that we get at least something right for Brimstone. What is your favourite theory of the week?
I will say Elroy is Kingfisher dad.
Yeah.
That's going to be my theory.
Mine as well. Oh, no, I tell you which one I like that we've done today. Is that Elroy hasn't given up and he's doing something secret with the glass.
Yes, it's not just windows, something else.
Yeah, he's making something else, or he's not doing glass at all.
He's making a glass man. Yes.
Yeah. And that my favorite theory is that if he goes back to Avelia, he will start a roaring trade in Snow Fae.
Yes, selling an Ibelia.
Nice. Okay, so sticking with the theme of precognition, let's look at the chapters we're going to cover for next week.
Okay, so we're going to have chapter 5, Heretic. Then chapter 6 is going to be Everlane. And chapter 7, The Dog. Yes,
so we are only covering 3 chapters next week, but they are around the same length as the 4 we've covered today.
Yeah.
So we're not expecting a shorter episode, I'm afraid. We get an awful lot of more, the world building just gets blown out of the water or out of the snow in the next episode. So yeah, we're going to cross through the Quicksilver.
Yes.
So questions from the Quicksilver.
Oh, what's that?
Subscribe to Faithfully Fantasy.
Okay, what is the question?
So this is the part of the show where we listen hard to the whispers of the Quicksilver and dig deep into our souls for the answer. So this week's question, if you had the chance to live forever, would you take it? And why or why not? So don't answer it today. You can have a week to ponder. And it's not just a yes or no answer. You
have to explain.
Give an explanation, yeah.
Okay, that's a really philosophical question.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and that is all we've got time for this week. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod. Come and join the conversation. We'd love to hear all of your Quicksilver theories, and don't forget to continue sending us your Empyrean theories. So if you have a theory, a thought, a correction, anything, Send it our way. We always try to give credit on the show and on socials because, let's be honest, the best theories come from all of you.
And with this, we had just one more thing to say. Thank you for listening to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things Quicksilver.
We'll see you next week for our deep dive of chapters 5 to 7, and of course, with more Faithfully Fantasy.
Bye!